Hello there and a very good morning and welcome to the Breakfast Rundown with me Zulfick Farzan, and it's Thursday. Let's dive into the details right away. Now, the Immigration and Immigration Department of Sri Lanka has announced that only 750 passports will be issued daily from the department premises. Now, this is a measure to address the shortage of blank passports that has been experienced by the Department of Immigration and Immigration. Now, over the past 2 days, we at Newsfirst brought you footage of long queues outside the premises of Department of Immigration and Immigration to obtain travel passports for overseas travel. Now, some of these people speaking to Newsfirst also said that they had been waiting in line for over day since early morning for some people in order to obtain their passports to travel overseas. Now, Controller General Harsha Ilukpitia stated that by yesterday afternoon, all the people who were waiting outside the premises were evacuated from the premises, and he said that around 1,000 passports were issued yesterday. Now, this decision to move the people out of the premises and limit the distribution of passports to 750 per day comes with the limited supply of blank passports that are available with the Department of Immigration and Immigration. Now, at the same time, Foreign Minister and Minister of Justice Ali Sabri has apologized on behalf of the Sri Lankan government for the ongoing passport issue, and that has caused significant discomfort to the general public. Now, addressing the matter, the minister said that steps are being taken to resolve the situation promptly. Now, Ali Sabri revealed that a new electronic passport system is in the works and will be implemented as soon as possible to streamline the process and prevent further shortage of passports. Now, he announced that a new batch of passports is expected to arrive by October 16th, and that is expected to alleviate the current backlog experienced at the Department of Immigration and Immigration. Now, on the 21st of September, Sri Lankans, eligible voters in Sri Lanka, will head to the polling stations to elect their new president. Well, the Election Commission has now issued a very important notice to those facing physical disabilities and visual impairments. Now, the Election Commission says that voters with visual impairments and physical disabilities are expected to obtain their fitness certificates immediately that are required to exercise their franchise. Now, the Commission outlined a process of how these certificates can be obtained. Now, application forms are available at the Election Commission, the District Election Office, and the Election Commission website, which is www.elections.gov.lk. Now, once completed, the forms must be certified by the Grama Niladhari officer and thereafter taken to a government medical officer for further certification. Now, on election day, voters with visual impairments and physical disabilities can bring this certified document with them to the polling station, accompanied by another person who is over the age of 18. Now, the Election Commission has stressed that the person accompanying these eligible voters should not be a representative of a political party or a candidate. Now, the Commission emphasized that once this document is also obtained, the voter who is facing visual impairments or any physical disability is eligible to exercise their franchise on election day. Now, at the same time, the Election Commission has pointed out that more than 1,200 complaints have been received ahead of the presidential election. Now, the exact number as of yesterday is 1,229. Now, among these, a significant 1,172 complaints relate to the violation of election laws. Now, in addition to this, the Election Commission has also received 4 complaints related to the acts of violence. Now, Manjula Garajanayaka is the Executive Director of the Institute for Democratic Reforms and Election Studies. He said that there have been reports of assaults also taking place at election rallies across the island. Now, the Election Commission has also pointed out that there is a surge in the number of complaints that are being received ahead of the September 21st election day. Now, at the same time, you might recall that Sri Lanka did not have a local government election that was scheduled for 2023, and thereafter a Supreme Court ruling was delivered, and the Election Commission last afternoon met to deliberate on this ruling and future action that should be taken by the Election Commission as per the directives of the Supreme Court. Now, the Election Commission has announced its commitment on setting a new date for the delayed local government elections as soon as possible. Now, the Commission has assured the public that it will seek support from government institutions to fulfill its legal responsibilities regarding the conduct of the local government election in accordance with the Supreme Court ruling. Now, on the 22nd of August, the Supreme Court of Sri Lanka ruled that the President, in his capacity as the Minister of Finance, violated the fundamental rights of the people of Sri Lanka by failing to hold the 2023 local government election through arbitrary and unlawful action. Now, the court criticized the Election Commission for not properly managing and planning the local government election process and for failing to issue the necessary directives in order to secure the cooperation of the government agencies. Now, the Supreme Court also ordered the Election Commission to hold the local government election as soon as possible in accordance with the powers vested with the Election Commission by law. Now, moving on. In 2022, Sri Lanka went into a crisis and announced that it will be defaulting on servicing its external debt. Thereafter, Sri Lanka entered into an agreement with the IMF, an extended fund facility supported by the International Monetary Fund. Now, based on this program, Sri Lanka is to receive certain funding, or a total amount of funding of almost $3 billion that will be given in tranches following a 6-month or 7-month review by the IMF staff in Sri Lanka. Now, their review is to basically check if Sri Lanka is meeting the targets of the program and is making the necessary reforms to alleviate itself from the crisis situation. Now, Sri Lanka's Foreign Minister Ali Sabri has said that any attempts to renegotiate the debt sustainability agreement will be detrimental to the country. Now, his comments come after certain views were expressed in Sri Lanka's political landscape about renegotiating the agreement with the International Monetary Fund. Now, here's what the Foreign Minister had to say at a press conference last afternoon.
Absolute non-starter, because it's a very, very serious process. I started the initial negotiation. Then President Gotabaya Rajapaksa officially communicated the desire to apply for an extended fund facility in March 2022. By the time we get the first tranche was March 2023. It took 1 year for us to agree on the DSA. So DSA has 5 parameters. 133% of the current debt should be reduced to 95% on the DSA. Then 9.3% of the current payment of the GDP, which is going for foreign loan settlement, has to be brought down to 4.5%. Then there has to be a 2.1% surplus on the primary balance. 15% of the tax should be revenue, or revenue out of GDP. Now, you can't just change this. This become a part of the law. If you try to renegotiate and change it, it will take another 1 year. If that happens, IMF will not give their next tranche of 400 million in December. If they don't give, the World Bank will not give their next tranche of 400 million. And if they don't give, ADB will not give their next tranche of 500 million. So about 1.2 to 1.3 billion is in danger from December to January. Without that, the rupee will tumble, inflation will go up, and country will be unstable. So if anyone wants to try that, good luck.
Well, those were the comments by Sri Lanka's Foreign Minister as well as Justice Minister Ali Sabri, President's Council. Now, coming back to the election landscape, recently we witnessed the National People's Power presidential candidate Anura Kumara Dissanayake unveil his election manifesto. Now, that manifesto is also being widely discussed among the local political platforms. Now, at the same time, today, independent presidential candidate and current president Ranil Wickremesinghe will present his election manifesto. Now, recently he said that his manifesto will outline the vision to build a new Sri Lanka. and that will include initiatives aimed at improving the quality of life for everyone and ensuring a safe environment for the youth of Sri Lanka. Now the event is expected to take place in Colombo this morning. Now at the same time, another presidential candidate is Sajith Premadasa, the leader of the Samagi Jana Balawegya. Now Sajith Premadasa is also expected to unveil his election manifesto later on today on behalf of the Samagi Jana Sandhana in Kandy. Now sticking with elections, Sri Lankan President and independent presidential candidate Ranil Wickremesinghe has announced his plan to transform Sri Lanka's economy by focusing on the manufacturing industry and thereafter avoiding tax concessions. Now Wickremesinghe addressed concerns about potential economic downturns, drawing comparisons with Greece's financial crisis. He assured the public that unlike Greece, he would not resort to firing government employees or reducing their wages. Highlighting his approach to economic stability, Ranil Wickremesinghe mentioned his plans to increase production and income, which would enable the provision of tax concessions. Ranil Wickremesinghe said that the political platform Puluang Sri Lanka is the only platform that can save the country from the current economic crisis. Now Ranil Wickremesinghe said that the people should work to appoint a leader who was with them during crisis and not those who left them when they were in a crisis situation. Now Sajith Premadasa is the country's opposition leader and also a presidential candidate. Sajith Premadasa, now at an election rally, has vowed to transform the Sevanagala and Talwatta sugar factories into profitable institutions under a Samagi Jana Balawegya government. Now he emphasized that the potential of these factories to thrive through proper management and the utilization of national resources. Sajith Premadasa has also criticized the current government's approach to privatization, accusing it of selling off profitable state enterprises. Now he said the privatization is a name that this government takes whenever it sees a state institution making profits. Highlighting the importance of these sugar factories, Sajith Premadasa noted that over 30,000 people, including farming families, depend on these institutions. Now the opposition leader, who is also the presidential candidate for the SCMB, said that he will halt the trend of privatization and focus on using national resources to uplift the welfare of the rural communities as well. Now coming back to something that we witnessed several months ago, a shocking incident that was a heinous and brutal shooting in the heart of Aturugiriya several months ago that led to the deaths of two individuals, including Surendra Wasanta Pereira, that's the club Wasanta. Now, two people connected to this brutal murder were arrested from Panadura yesterday. Now, Sri Lanka police said that these suspects include one of the alleged shooters and the driver of the getaway car. Now, these suspects are a 32-year-old and a 29-year-old. Now, the arrest follows the earlier detention of the main shooter and several others on August 23rd. Now, all the suspects connected to this brutal crime and arrested so far are being held under 90-day detention orders for interrogation. Now, just to give a recap, this brutal murder took place on the 8th of July when Club Wasanta and another individual were brutally shot at while opening a tattoo parlor in the heart of Aturugiriya. Now, the Met Department of Sri Lanka is saying that showers or thunder showers will be experienced in the western Sabaragamuwa and northwestern provinces as well as in the Galle, Matara and Nuwara districts. Now, the Met Department has warned that fairly heavy showers of 50 millimeters of rain can be experienced in some places in the western and Sabaragamuwa provinces as well as in Nuwara as well as Puttalam. Now, the Met Department is also pointing out that the sun is going to be directly over the latitudes of Sri Lanka during these periods starting yesterday until the 6th of September. Now today, the nearest point in which the sun will be overhead of Sri Lanka has been identified as Odusudan, Mankulam, Teyankadal and Mallavi, and this will be at around 12:11 this afternoon. Now, as usual, the Met Department is also issuing a warning for a temporary localized strong winds accompanied by lightning during rainfall, and we would like to urge our viewers also to take the necessary precautionary measures to minimize the damage caused by lightning. And that brings an end to this morning's edition of the Breakfast Rundown. I'll see you again tomorrow, same place, same time. Until then, take care and God bless.